Hello, Miss Beirne.
Good morning.
I'm Luke Tran, and I'm here with Brandon Ponico. Thank you for taking the time to meet with us. We just have a few questions about your time here at Iona Prep and your career in general. What made you come to Iona Prep?
So I have been a full-time teacher for 12 years and administrator. I was a teacher and an administrator at Ursuline. And I really found that my time as an administrator, I felt kind of more distant from the girls. And I really wanted to get back into the classroom. So there was an opening here in the English department, and I was thrilled to take it. I went from teaching all girls to teaching all boys. It's a very different experience, but I find this community to be incredibly welcoming. And it was at a time in my life where I felt I really needed community.
That's amazing. And then, what are the challenges you continue to face being a woman in an all-boys school?
Well, it's actually kind of nice being in a community where there are a lot of male teachers. You get a different perspective on things. I love teaching boys because, again, you get a very different perspective on things. I've really enjoyed my time here, and I guess the challenge is I think that sometimes we assume that boys kind of let things roll off their back, or that there's not as much drama teaching boys, but there's a lot, I think, that they hold in because they feel they're supposed to, and sometimes that can be a challenge to try to get students a little bit more engaged and speaking out. So that's been a challenge, but I have not felt like I feel as though as a woman I've been treated equally here, and it's a really great community.
You said you've been teaching for 12 years. So how did you balance your career and your career aspirations with the demands from your personal life?
So I've been teaching full-time for 12 years. I've been teaching longer than that. I used to be in journalism. I worked for a newspaper. I was an editor out at Newsday on Long Island. And I taught on the side down at NYU. I taught journalism. And it has always been a great challenge because I have 3 children. They're now grown, but when they were little, it was really difficult. Long Island it was a pretty big commute. What I did was I was one of the first women to share a job line with another woman. So she worked 3 days a week, I worked 2 days a week, and then I worked 3 days a week, she worked 2 days a week. And so we were doing different jobs at Newsday, but it was really new at the time to let people do that so that they could take care of their demands at home. And I felt it really helped me because I was able to spend time at home with my children as well. So it is a balancing act. You have to put something aside. I used to watch people getting promoted and think I'd really like to be full-time again, but it took some time before I was able to do that because my children, I wanted to wait till they were a little more on their own and independent.
In your career, what do you consider to be the greatest academic or professional achievement you've had so far?
So in the newspaper business, of course, it's very unpredictable business. You come in the morning, you're never sure what's going to happen that day. And I was on the team of reporters and editors. We actually won the Pulitzer Prize for work we did on the Flight 800 explosion. This was the flight that was going to France. And it exploded over Long Island, and we did a lot of small profiles of some of the victims, and we did it on deadline, and we got about 140 done in 12 hours, and that was honored for a Pulitzer. And I think one of the other things we did was we didn't jump to conclusions that it was some kind of terrorist activity or terrorist attack. We were a little slower to, try to get all the information and figure out what was going on, and so that was an honor. I also was involved in the coverage of the Miracle on the Hudson. That happened
wow.
while I was on duty, and we were honored by the New York Press for that as well. So I think just being able to deal with the unpredictability of journalism can be quite a challenge. And then, of course, in education, I was principal at the time that COVID hit. And I think we all, as administrators, faced great challenges about how to handle that.
Here at Iona, we talk a lot about the idea of the brotherhood. As a woman, how do you contribute to the idea of the brotherhood here at Iona Prep?
So I think as a teacher, I am able to honor the brotherhood and also feel part of the whole community. And one of the things I do in my class is I will pray, sometimes pick a prayer that honors or asks God's grace on young women who don't have the opportunity to get the kind of education that you guys can get here. There are places around the world where it's still illegal for a young girl to go to school. And so I bring that into my classroom because I feel that is part of brother sisterhood. And I think when you talk about the brotherhood, you're talking about, in some ways, the brotherhood of man, the brotherhood of Christianity, and that really does include women as well. So anytime I can, I try to bring that into the classroom.
I think that's all the questions we have. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you.